Kaboom Test Labs presents another issue, NWI Nerds with Issues,
Yes.
with your host, Doughboy,
Admiral Duke,
and
The B-Wok.
B-Wizzle Faux Shizzle in the Hizzle. Now that we've turned the mics on, I think we're good. One day we'll film what goes on before the show when we're brainstorming.
Goodness.
And sometimes we will lose it, and that's what we did. But we're here with you. We're happy to be getting everything going. Again, issue number 8, right?
Yes, I
It's
know.
hard to believe.
Our picks of the week are what we're going to start out with this week. I'll go first. I don't mind doing it. Everybody knows what I'm going to say anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Uncanny Avengers, number 4.
It was pretty good.
It was worth the wait. The end, we were talking about this, Duke. I agree with you on the end.
It was a little underwhelming.
It could have been more, although we won't give it away. Captain America is a super badass.
Oh, yes, he is.
Amazing super badass. I really like the way this whole thing's shaping out, though, 4 issues in. And the ending, the 3 months later,
Oh,
holy smokes.
Yeah, that epilogue was definitely really an epic way to end it and really make you go, wait, what's going on? Because you know it's not going to be continued in the next storyline.
Yep.
And so we're going to have to wait a few months to see exactly what that means.
And I think that's brilliant because
it is.
once again, always leave them wanting more, and that's exactly what they're doing.
That's exactly right.
But in the meantime, I'm like, there's all these really great books to get into, which we'll get into later. But there's all these other really great books going on. Marvel, I don't want to be beating a dead comics. DC, I don't want to beat that. I just want to say Marvel right now. I'm extremely excited in the direction they're going. But I was extremely excited with the new 52 when it first started too.
That's true.
But Uncanny Avengers number 4. I don't know, man. I magically got one, but it's awesome.
Well, and inside the book, what's really, really great is there's some amazing artwork. And what's funny is
God, yes.
Cassidy's artwork is weird because he does some awesome splash pages, and then it seems like he's cutting corners in other places. But that's just a personal pet peeve.
Yeah, I mean,
but there was some great stuff in this book.
Cassidy A is the reason that we've waited for this book as long as we have.
Right.
And I'm glad with that said, some of the other issues have been sloppy, but I think this one, I could see he took his time on it.
Oh, yeah.
In the panels of, post battle, you're seeing Havoc, Wolverine when Thor's carrying Wolverine
Oh, my
away.
goodness.
Cassidy just
Oh,
holy crap!
yes.
He looks like he went.
Well,
If Muhammad Ali got hit by gamma radiation, that's what would have happened to Wolverine.
Well, in this one, when they're showing Wolverine's face,
Yeah.
he ain't healing like he normally does.
No, he took a long time to heal from that beating.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was bad. It looked like he went, Mike Tyson in his prime right there. I was like,
yeah.
whoa, I thought that was
That's
beautiful.
what happens when you go up against Thor's hammer, baby.
Oh my God.
without a healing factor.
Without a healing factor, exactly.
It'll mess you up.
But Uncanny Avengers, if it's foreign to you, what the hell we're saying about all this right now, read it. It's worth it. If you can find them, if not, get them digitally.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, can I just say this really quick?
Sure.
My favorite cover of the week,
Yeah.
just to throw that out there, Hawkeye number 8, man.
Nice.
Which was a great issue, period.
Beautiful
That book-
cover.
That book continues to just be off the chain.
It's fun to read. It's really fun to read. It shows that he's this whole other person when he's not on the clock, so to speak, for the Avengers. And it's really cool. Well, not whole other person, but he doesn't live his outside life like a normal Avenger. And it's really cool. But anyways, my pick of the week is Uncanny Avengers number 4.
Great one.
Admiral Duke, what do you got?
I'm sticking with Marvel now. My pick, and I have to go back a couple weeks, but my pick is Uncanny X-Men number 2, and it really just keeps the story going from Uncanny X-Men number 1. And what I liked about this is one of the things that I really enjoyed about Avengers versus X-Men over the summer was how it explored how these core 5 Phoenix characters were corrupted by this force. And what's really fun about Uncanny X-Men is you're seeing the repercussions of that. You're seeing how everybody that was affected by the Phoenix force, their powers have been negated.
Yes.
And they're all starting from the beginning, which is what's kind of fun. And also, Cyclops doesn't seem to realize how crazy he is. He thinks.
Well, yeah, look at that costume. Like,
Oh, God. I hate the costume.
He thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's moving forward. And what's funny, what I really liked is especially in book 1, there's this image of like Cyclops as Che Guevara, the leader of the mutant revolution.
Yeah.
And you get the idea that even some of the new recruits think that Scott Summers is kind of off his rocker, but it's definitely fun. The first issue ended in kind of a jaw-dropping reveal because you start to realize
There's a traitor on the team.
There's a traitor on the team, and when you realize who the traitor is, it's like, holy cow. And then issue 2 ends in a very similar jaw-dropping reveal. It's pretty cool.
I was just about to ask that because I have 2. I have not read it yet, but I was just about to ask you about, at the end of Uncanny X-Men 1, there was a pretty shocking, like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Do they go into more detail with that in number 2? Obviously,
A little
Somewhat.
bit.
So it gets a little clarified just simply by Chris Bachalo's artwork, which is beautiful.
Which is great.
Oh man, if you don't like Bachalo, like I don't know, what are you doing? Like,
All right.
What?
Okay, I'll read it tonight. I just, you guys know what my problem with it is always, right?
What's that?
I hate Cyclops and any story centered around him.
Yeah, but you're supposed to hate Cyclops.
I know.
You're supposed to.
But
I'm
I
sorry,
get
but
so angry reading it. I really, truly do.
But
well,
dude,
he's
I'm a
the new
huge
Magneto. He is.
Exactly. I'm a huge Magneto fan, and like Magneto's awesome in that book. Plus, his new costume is sick, dude. I'm sorry, but all white, that all-encompassing helmet.
Yes,
it's
I'll
sweet
give him
looking.
props on that. But
You have the,
I have
the
this,
White Queen wearing black. Like, there's some cool designs on the, regardless of whether you like Scott's new costume or not.
I have to throw this out there because he's actually a listener of ours. He's a good friend of mine, and he lives out in Arizona. His name is James. Huge Cyclops fan.
Right.
He loves X-Men more on the mutant side than anything else.
Uh-oh.
Huge Cyclops fan, though, right? Swears up and down that, he's just misunderstood. And I like starting fights with him over Facebook chat. Like, randomly last night at like 1 a.m, I was like, yeah, man, Cyclops is a dick, yo. And literally, I'm not kidding, a 45-minute argument ensued where it ended up him saying, we're going to fight.
What you gotta do is just send him a picture of AVX round 11 where he chokes at Charles and be like, "Happy Tuesday."
That's what I said, and he goes, that was the Phoenix, and I was like, yeah, part Phoenix, part Scott douchebag Summers.
I like how you even got that in all new
wow.
X-Men when Scott's sitting there in denial, like that wasn't me. And Magneto just calls him out and was like, dude, you did this.
Yeah.
I've been around forever. Look at me. And I can tell you whether it's you or it's someone possessing you or someone, just this blood is on your hands.
Yeah.
And you did this.
And bottom line, I can say this: if you loved AVX like we all did,
Right.
The books you should be reading: Uncanny X-Men, Uncanny Avengers,
Oh, yeah.
and All New
X-Men.
X-Men. And
Absolutely.
then those 3 books keep you going and show you consequences and repercussions and where the rest of the stuff is going.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's really cool seeing the X-Men universe kind of being, and the mutant side of books really being the focal point of the Marvel universe. Whereas the past few years it's been the Avengers and
A lot cooler than I thought it was going to be. I'll say
absolutely.
B-Wok, go ahead, take a drink of your soda. I want you to go ahead because you're gonna be getting into it here.
Yeah, wet that whistle. Gotta
Yes.
hear this.
So, your pick of the week. I don't think I've read it, but I am really interested in hearing about it. Just don't drop me any spoilers. What's up?
My pick of the week is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, my
0.1.
You guys got me pumped up for this, and I'm
Wow.
sorry. I have to give one more shout out. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt. John, our boy John. Kaboom.
Yes.
He was like, dude, I'm sorry that I didn't have your Jericho in there. He gave me his copy of Nova #1.
Oh, wow.
Kick ass.
I told you.
Incredible, dude.
Told you.
Couldn't have been more right,
Incredible
and I
read.
am so excited for the next one. But on that type of a note, Duke,
I just want to point something out. John really is a trooper because
Yes.
I don't think you realize that there was a huge snowstorm in Texas this last
Yes.
week, which totally messed up comic book subscriptions in the Albuquerque area. In New Mexico, it really messed up shipping because a lot of packages were stuck in Texas and whatnot. And our favorite comic book store, Kaboom, unfortunately didn't get their comic books
Yes.
until middle of Wednesday, and which is not a good thing considering Wednesday is comic book day.
Yeah.
But everything went well. He worked it like a trooper, and he got everything out as quickly as he could, and weren't too many complaints. It was great.
I'll tell you this: he got me Nova, and I was like, I don't know. And now I'm like, okay,
It's a great
I want
book.
more, and time for some Guardians of the Galaxy. And
Oh,
on that
yes.
note, B-Wizzle.
Yeah, man. This is the first. It's the Admiral doesn't want to call it an issue 1 because it really isn't. It's
It isn't.
0.1. It's not absolutely necessary to read, but it really kind of gives us
Prologue,
a nice little
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, more than anything, it gives us a nice little origin to our leading character on the team, Star-Lord.
Oh, yeah.
And it does it in a great way. I mean, as I said, this is an issue that's a must read. But if you are interested and kind of want to start getting into it, it's a great little segue into the cosmic side of Marvel, which is something that I gotta admit, I myself have never been too interested in. I was the most skeptical out of anyone when they announced the film being made of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was just about to ask you. So that's also the next big Marvel film. Actually, Stan Lee mentioned that at Ace last year at his panel.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
When it was like a big announcement, and everybody was like, "Yes," and I'm like, "I don't know much about them," and now I feel like
I think that was a lot of people most Marvel films that announce them, they just recently announced Doctor Strange is going on, which I'm pumped for.
Stoked. Stuff
like that people get pumped for. Guardians was the first one that I think they announced, and people were like, "Huh? Who?" or "Really?"
Yeah.
I think that was the expression on most people's faces,
Well,
myself included. However, Marvel's marketing and just the way they've been doing things has really turned me on to
Agreed.
a book and a team that I never would have given a second thought to, really.
I gotcha.
Yeah, but you may remember that Iron Man was not a major figure in comic book film
Prior to 2007.
and people were like, Iron Man?
Prior to
Really?
Robert Downey Jr.
Exactly. And Robert Downey Jr. is why people jumped onto it, and then it just turned out to be amazing.
And it's why they throw money at him, because it ain't like Batman.
No.
You'll never, ever have another Tony Stark. You can't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's almost
all shall turn into old money bags.
well, and it's almost like trying to replace Christopher Reeve, which we've seen is pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
But so your pick of the week, Guardians of the Galaxy, point one. Without going too much into the whole thing, give me just something brief to let me know what I'm going to be reading, because I'm going to read it tonight.
Well, Brian Michael Bendis has been doing a great job on a lot of Marvel books. This is one that, once again, I can tell Marvel's really just putting their all into getting people pumped about this team, and I think they're doing a pretty good job.
And they got Bendis writing a lot.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
And everything he's writing is
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Exactly.
True story.
So Bendis is provides a script for this issue and the series, as well as the artist for the series, Steve McNiven, artist of Civil War,
Such a good
Nemesis, Old Man Logan. The guy is just one of the best in the industry currently, and if you don't know him, anyway, the book is great in that it just gives you a great introduction to Star-Lord, or Peter Quill as you're more familiar with him in this issue. And it takes you from, his most basic origins, essentially, and it gives you a great narrative of how he's just kind of, it's just a breakdown of the character, and it gets you super invested in him, and you're curious as to his team, and you want to know more by the end of point one.
Well, do we know when when the one's supposed to be coming? Is it next month?
Yes, it's March 27th.
Oh,
Yeah.
weak sauce.
Dude, it's
Today's the
week?
first. It's the first of the month.
It's
so
exactly
26 days.
it's a month away.
All right. All right.
One thing that I loved about Guardians of the Galaxy was first of all, Bendis has this way of steering you in one direction with a story and then taking a left turn, and that's exactly what this does. And you think it's going a certain direction, and then it jots off a certain I loved it that way, and also it is the first appearance of Iron Man on the Guardians of the Galaxy team, which is really, really cool.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's not really giving anything away. If you're looking at any of the posters, you're like, wait a minute, that's Iron Man in some weird cosmic armor, and it is.
I dig it. I'm looking forward to it. You guys got me pumped about it when we talked about it on the last issue, so I'm stoked. I'm looking forward to it. Well, those are our picks of the weeks then.
Good stuff.
I like it. I like what we had there to start it out. Solid opening, gentlemen. Let's move on to some movie news.
Oh, my goodness, yes. One thing I want to point out that I pointed out to you guys, we've been talking the past couple weeks about Iron Man 3, and we're all very stoked about that.
Yes.
One thing that everybody should be excited is this upcoming Tuesday, March the 5th, the third and final trailer for Iron Man 3 is coming out. Very cool thing, if you are on Facebook, check out the Yahoo movie page, and actually we posted the link to it on our Facebook page. And if you look at that picture, there's something really crazy going on. We talked a couple weeks ago about the Mandarin poster and how the Mandarin's sitting there looking all menacing and everything.
Ben Kingsley
looks awesome. But what's really, really crazy, and something that Brian and I were talking about before the show, is that if you look real close to this specific image, there is a helmet sitting right next to him, and it's a very familiar-looking helmet.
Very interesting helmet.
Oh, yeah. It's got bullet holes in it and a giant A on it. It is Captain America's helmet. What the heck is it doing next to the Mandarin?
I don't know, people, but you need to go look at this poster and decipher it if you can, because we're stumped, but we're excited. B-Wok,
True.
what are you thinking?
I everyone knows I'm just ridiculously pumped for this movie. Mandarin is one of my favorite villains of all time. If you don't know, I consider him Doctor Doom level BA in the Marvel Universe. People you don't want to screw with.
Oh yeah.
And I think people who don't know will, as Biggie Smalls said, if you don't know, now you know. You're gonna find out who he is in a big bad way. And I love that you brought up the Captain America helmet next to him holding his incense in this particular slightly altered version of the poster that we've seen before. What's interesting is we were talking about IGN does these really great. They basically break down superhero movie trailers. They slow it down and they do still frames and they analyze the trailer.
Who is that? IGN.com?
IGN.com, yeah.
Okay.
And they have one for Iron Man 3 where they happen to point out it's a scene where you get the back of Mandarin and his monologues going off. You look closely, you can see on the back of his neck is a tattoo of a Captain America shield. So something's going on. So Marvel's got something up their sleeve. Shane Black has something incredibly interesting planned for this film. And
so Mandarin is somehow fixated on Captain America.
And we have no
what
idea
implications is that going to have
why.
on the next Avengers movie?
Wow. Well, and we know he attacks Air Force One. Weird.
Yep.
Weird. I love this connection.
It's going to be fun. There's really, there's just not much they can do wrong with these movies right now. So
well, there's two
it's
new
pretty easy to
posters
get
out,
excited.
right? There's two new Iron Man 3
Yes,
posters.
there's a Gwyneth Paltrow poster, which is awesome, of Pepper Potts. It's her holding Tony's helmet, which is pretty much
And does that
cut in
woman
half.
ever look bad?
No.
No.
Wow.
Well, when she was in the fat suit in Shallow Hal.
It's because she was in a Jack Black movie.
Yeah.
I say that, and I'm one of the biggest fans of Nacho Libre. I'm just being him.
Yeah, I love Nacho Libre with a passion.
Not a bad movie. I'm more of a fan of his when he was in Airborne, but I don't know if you remember that movie.
I don't want to get bit to loose. I want to clean.
I want to clean.
Oh, wow. That can't be the only movie news we've got, right?
No, not at all.
We've got some
Not
other
by a
movie
long
news.
shot.
We were talking about it, and
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing
2.
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah.
B-Wok, you give us this one.
All right, as of this week, as of yesterday, they have announced that we have a Norman Osborn cast for The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
And I dig it.
A gentleman named
Chris Cooper.
Chris
Cooper, which, if you don't know, was probably, I think most people are going to recognize him from, I don't know, I'd say the Muppets movie, the newest one.
The Muppets movie, he's been in a ton.
He was
of
in The
different
Patriot
things,
with Mel Gibson.
He's one of those dudes that you always recognize him once you see him because he's just been in everything.
He had a bit part in Lost. He's got a bit part in that new show, Person of Interest. So this is a busy guy, and he picked up a big part.
And he's a great actor.
And
yes,
and I happen to be really pumped for it. I think a lot of people are obviously going to be initially sitting there going, well, how do you really after Willem Dafoe?
But here's the thing with Willem Dafoe, he was scarier without the effing mask on and everything.
That's very
bro.
true.
It's Willem Dafoe. That's where they
Absolutely.
effed up. It's like, no, man, you don't wear your underwear on the outside. What are you doing?
No, you look like the Green Ranger, not the Green Goblin.
But I'm just saying, I think this is a good choice. You know, I read something online. I was looking at, I was looking at all these other like shows and bloggers and whatnot. And one of these one guys wrote something like, "Oh God, another horrible casting news from the horrible remake of Amazing Spider or the horrible reboot." And I'm sitting to myself going, "Do you even know what you're talking about?"
No, and I totally agree. Comicbookmovie.com did this really, really scathing commentary about the casting. They were talking about the Chris Cooper news, and they were talking about what's the young lady who's playing Mary Jane?
Her name's Shailene Woodley, who I am beyond excited to see her.
They are tearing
rendition.
her apart. They're tearing this poor girl apart, saying she's a terrible choice for Mary Jane. And I disagree because they're forgetting that this is a high school version.
I completely agree.
She's not yet full into her hotness. Give her a break.
She's not a supermodel yet. I mean,
Exactly.
she's absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I can't wait to see what she does. I'm stoked. I think the casting on the first film was spot on, and I'm stoked on the second one. You guys know I was skeptical of Paul Giamatti's Rhino. I'm more open to it, I guess, now. I'm warming up to the idea.
Paul Giamatti could... Dude,
he's a great actor. I'm not denying him as an actor.
The guy could play a cardboard box.
I was never denying Giamatti as an actor as much as I was questioning the ability to translate the Rhino as a villain from the comic book onto the screen. Because he is one of Spider-Man's more kind of campy villains, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's true.
That was my real doubt, essentially. But while we're on this note of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, IMDb has Felicity Jones cited as playing someone in the film who is not yet cited, and I kind of want to know who that is, because one, Felicity Jones is friggin' beautiful.
Right.
She's great. She's in a great movie called Like Crazy. The kid from Star Trek is in it too. The one who plays
Anton Yelchin.
Yes,
Man,
and it's a totally romantic movie, but it's a cute film. She's a great actress. She's beautiful. Anyway, there's all these rumors. People are thinking Black Cat possibly.
You think?
I don't know. I really
come on,
don't
if you
know.
had to stab in the dark, who do you think?
They
hire an actress of her caliber. What part would they be throwing her in? Into?
I couldn't say what part they would be throwing her into because they're pulling something with this new film. They're going a million different directions with Electro and Rhino. But if I could make a wish, as if I could say who I want her to play, I'd want to see her as Betty Brant. With that said, you guys have heard me say that the only thing this film is really missing for me to get completely pumped about it. You still don't have a Jameson cast.
Ooh, that's a really good
that's
point.
the only thing this film needs for, in my particular opinion, to get me pumped.
We were talking about that yesterday, and we hadn't.
That's
Here's intriguing.
Here's the thing: you need to bring J.K. Simmons back because
that's I realize people they won't do it because it'll confuse people.
Exactly, which is the whole thing. But I'm sorry, in my mind, J.K. Simmons sits next to Christopher Reeve and Robert Downey Jr. as actors who completely embody those characters.
Yes, but with those other characters, I don't think anybody else could have played those parts as well. I think there are other actors you could get.
I don't.
Here's the thing, Doughboy. I agree with you in the aspect that yes, there are other actors you can get that would do great jobs, stupendous jobs. However, I'll be honest when I say I don't think there's anyone that's better than him. And what I mean by that is, if it so happens that they don't get J.K. back, which let's be honest is a good possibility, the one person I would accept as Jameson is Bruce Campbell.
I agree with that. I totally agree. He could do that.
Do you think he could? Do you think he could pull it off?
Oh, dude, I totally
Mustache,
do.
I absolutely.
Here's the thing. I think, and what's funny is that this actually kind of helps segue into some other movie news.
Cool.
I think really we're coming into a shining spot for Bruce Campbell because Sam Raimi just announced today that actually it was via an interview that he was doing for the new Oz movie that he's doing for Disney. He announced that this summer he is writing the script for Evil Dead 4. Which means that Bruce Campbell has to come back as Ash. Nobody else can do that.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of this, there's a bunch of questions about it because there is a new remake of the original Evil Dead coming out. So then the question is, okay, how in the world do these two things tie together? But I'm pretty sure that this will be a fourth sequel with a different title that has a lot more to do with Army of Darkness than it does anything else.
True.
And I mean, Bruce Campbell coming back, and then really, he would be amazing.
Yeah,
as J. Jonah Jameson. I totally agree.
I have to agree. I could see it. I don't know. I guess I wonder with the doing the mustache and he's gonna have to dye the hair a little bit.
I think the movie's shaping up to be something interesting, if nothing else. And while we're on the note of the film, they revealed this week the new costume which I'm sorry, but that's incredible looking. I think most fans are much happier with this costume. I like the original. I did, but in that it was much more Steve Ditko-esque. Not necessarily the way it looked, but in the overall concept of it.
Right.
The original suit from the first film looked like a kind of shabby costume that a high schooler threw together. Right down to the sunglass lenses as the eyepieces. And this new one is Spidey's been around for a while. He's fought some battles, got a little wiser, and has kind of knows what he's doing and has an updated costume.
But
I like
the thing
that.
is that Andrew Garfield wears it well.
Yes, and it's so Mark Bagley looking. I love that. I love that Mark Webb is drawing so much from the Ultimate comic line because if you don't know, that's like my favorite comic run of all time.
Comics,
Bendis and Bagley and a whole slew of other artists but especially Bagley's work on the first 111 issues of the Ultimate Spider-Man series is just incredible.
All right. So, I mean, there's some good news going on. Little side note really quick, Star Wars news. It happened, I want to say it was a week, maybe two ago.
Oh, yeah.
Carrie Fisher. So she was diagnosed years ago with bipolar disorder.
Oh, yeah.
And, she's done well with medication and everything else. Everything's been fine there. But apparently her medication kind of failed her on a cruise ship the other night while she was on stage, and it didn't go well.
Dude, I don't know. I don't even know how much I believe this, and let me explain why. The woman's
Well, it's happened before.
She's kind of a train wreck everywhere she goes.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I've known
times-
people with bipolar disorder, and I've never seen it like bad, but I've heard like when the medication fails after you've been on it, it's like a flash flood, and it is not cool. But here, we said this before the show, and look, have no fear. Princess Leia will have something to do with the Star Wars movie because Disney can afford every type of medication she needs, and it's always going to be the best.
Right.
So she'll be just fine. They're going to handle their investment. But I thought that was interesting. Other movie news opening next week, next Friday. Just want to remind everybody, Oz, the Great and Powerful, starring James Franco.
You are really excited about this.
I'm an Oz fan. I'm a huge Oz fan. I've been a fan of Wizard of Oz, and I loved Wizard of Oz, the original. I loved Return to Oz.
I was going to say, you have an unnatural attachment to Return to Oz.
There's a because it was so scary as a kid. That movie freaked me out. But there was a great miniseries on Sci-Fi called Tin Man.
Oh, that was good. Yeah,
that was
I saw
phenomenal.
That a few years back.
And it was all Wizard of Oz. And so much so that they had to give Baum a writer's credit on that because of everything that they used.
That they stole, yeah.
Yeah, well, stole, used. Basically, everything that's ever been put out. And I heard about this movie 2 years ago, and when I first heard James Franco, I was like, eh. And then I saw the preview, and I'm like, nope, he's cheesy and stupid. And that's really how I always figured the Wizard anyway.
Right.
And so now I'm more excited about the surrounding cast, like the fact that one fairly beautiful witch who Brian hates, but basically you don't really know which one becomes the actual Wicked Witch of the West, I guess,
a good call,
right away. And Michelle Williams as the Good Witch, Glinda,
yeah.
sorry. And I'm
Glinda
way
the Good
intrigued, and every preview I've seen where they start with the old rustic beginning and then go into color,
black and white,
it's so cool. It's so cool.
Keeping with
I'm
the
looking forward
classic
to it.
Wizard of Oz, yeah.
So it's going to be fun. I'm going to go see it. Actually, I think me and B-Wok are going next Friday.
I'm down.
Nice.
So are you working at the shop Friday? Next Friday?
Who, me?
Yeah.
During the day, yeah.
Oh, well, we were going to go see that in the morning. I was going to say, come take a trip.
So that's what you're going to do, huh? You make it so I can't go. Yeah, you did that on purpose.
Got awkward.
Yeah, I bet.
I
bet.
So
Anyway.
but we'll have a full review of it for you on Friday.
Just for me or for our audience?
The audience, I was trying to
that
make
would
you
be
feel
good.
better
That
about
was,
everything.
no, I appreciate that. You're
Yeah.
going to tell me secondhand about a movie that you're making sure I can't go to. Appreciate that.
So that's it for coming attractions.
Actually, it's not.
What?
The thing that debuted today online, Kevin Smith announced
Oh, yes.
the brand new trailer.
Well, he announced the trailer, but they'd been talking about this
yeah.
movie for a little while.
Yeah, there's
but
been some buzz.
what is it called again?
It is called Jay and Silent Bob's Super Cartoon Movie.
Snoochie
Or
Boochie.
no, groovy, super groovy cartoon
Groovy
movie.
cartoon movie. I
Yeah,
believe.
that's
yes.
And oh my goodness.
Go look it up.
This thing is
just
silly.
Google Kevin Smith animated movie and look it up because it's going to be
Jay and
hilarious.
Silent Bob cartoon.
Sure, that'll work too.
Oh yeah, and it looks as depraved as anything Kevin Smith has ever done.
It does, and I think Jay Muse is going to be just as funny sober. This is going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, 900. What did he say? 968 days.
You know, he
sober?
said 698, and then the writing at the bottom said Jay's really bad at math. It's actually been 968.
Or maybe officially he's been clean
Yes.
for 3 years.
I'm stoked to see it though, because that just you guys know how I am about the 90s and growing up in the things. I'll never forget the first time I saw Clerks. I'll never forget Chasing Amy, Mallrats, which I watched the other night. Again.
Chasing Amy is still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I've been told by multiple people, including the Admiral, that I am the living embodiment of Brody.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's what I get excited about, and I'm still
And
excited about Clerks 3.
As a compliment is great.
That's a compliment.
Clerks 3 may not happen. And here's why.
Is that right?
Darn.
Shoot.
I was so excited.
You're a young fool. Listen.
Yes, you are.
Bottom line is, John, I forgot his last name, but the guy that plays Randall.
Right.
He isn't into it.
So,
now,
like it needs Randall.
That's the problem, is Kevin Smith will not do it without everybody.
Oh, man.
And so what Kevin Smith said on Twitter the other day is, if it doesn't go down, I'll do it as a graphic novel.
Oh, that's too bad.
And I'm like, I like that because I love my graphic novels, my comics, but
That's that I do like.
yeah, it's like, yeah, that's the shit I don't like. And so I really would like that movie to happen because
No, I agree.
I feel like we'd be ending it with him.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
And that's exactly it. Because I mean, being a Clerks fan, being a Kevin Smith fan, just in general, I always felt like I was kind of sort of in with him on this whole him
Yes.
against the world thing,
Yes.
you know? And
Until
it's
lately he seems to have gotten pompous, but before
Yeah,
this,
agreed.
true.
But you know what?
Kevin
He's also
Smith 2
getting-
years ago. Kevin
But
Smith
dude,
2 years ago.
we've also yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
He's become almost a brand name, and
little
that's
bit.
not. We can't just blame that on him. We got to be happy for his success. But I will say that you're. That's what I think. I think that's why we have that connection a little bit more
Yeah.
than B-Wok.
Yeah.
Because you were, and it's not your fault, but you were a lot younger when Clerks first came out, and that was like nothing I'd ever seen.
yeah, true story. Yeah.
And then his movies just kept getting better. Maybe not in all critics' eyes, but definitely ours.
Yeah.
He just kept evolving and making better movies.
Well, and he was one of the first people to give like Will Ferrell, you know, his
Dogma, bro.
well, Dogma,
Dogma.
yeah, but I mean, I think about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That was one of the first movies where Will Ferrell really got to stretch his legs, and he's hilarious in that movie.
Well, and it was Hollywood taking on Catholicism too, which was
In Dogma, yeah.
ridiculously.
Oh yeah.
That was ballsy, but it was awesome. It was awesome.
But you know, and what's crazy is that's a hard movie to find right now.
I'll download it.
Well, yeah, that's one way to do it. Yeah.
Damn it! Now I'm going to have to do that and watch it. Son of a! I know what
It's
I'm
a
doing
great
tomorrow
movie.
night.
It's a
but
great
Kevin Smith, I'm so looking forward to this. And you were saying you think he's probably going to travel around for this.
No, he definitely is. And as I was telling you guys earlier, at Sundance a couple of years ago, he had announced to everybody that for Red State, his really weird kind of off the beaten path movie, you know, that was all about, you know, super religious fundamentalism and taking it as weird and as far as Kevin Smith could take it. He announced to everyone that he was going to auction it off at Sundance, and it was all a publicity stunt. He auctioned it off to himself for $1. And what he did was he was just trying to get, you know, buzz and say, look, I'm not doing marketing for this movie the way everybody else has done marketing. I'm not giving it to a studio. This is my baby. I'm going to travel with it around the country, and I'm going to sell it to the people who are going to watch it. Because the people who are going to come are the people who are going to see it anyway.
He hasn't been the same since they kicked him off the plane for being too fat, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That was a big
that's
turning
true.
point for him, man.
That's true.
Well, and I think honestly, I joke about that, but I honestly think that effed him up because that was like
couldn't
the
agree
ultimate
more.
F you. They're like, we don't care what you've ever done. You're fat and you need to get off the plane. That shit was cold.
Well, no,
That is
he
messed
still
up.
uses that as kind of a badge of honor to this
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
I mean, even what's funny is in the trailer for the cartoon movie,
Mm-hmm.
he's even listed as Mr. Too Fat to Fly. Wow, exactly.
At least he's got a good sense of humor about it.
Oh, dude, he's and what's funny is he's not dropping weight.
So
He's not. I'm not pointing out something that's
no,
not
I'm with you.
obvious.
And you know what? He didn't look too bad in that last trailer. He looks like he's losing a little bit. Jay Muse at least looks sober. I'll give him that. Man. 'Cause
he
that dude was
looks
smacked
clean.
out for a while, so that's
yeah.
good. Let's talk about Walking Dead.
Oh my goodness!
So you've gotten caught up. I'm going to
Yes.
tell anybody right now that is listening, and seriously, if you haven't got caught up to last week's episode, spoiler alert,
Big time.
Okay,
Big
we're going to
time.
talk about it. I've enjoyed the season. Like I said, it doesn't always keep my attention, is what I was telling you guys. And there's some episodes, and we're not talking about the farm episodes. We all know we all hated those, but there's just episodes like this
I don't
last
know that
week.
I agree with you, but okay.
The farm got pretty.
It got old, but by the time
It was
you got
like,
to
yo,
the
can
end
you
of,
get on
of
the
season
road?
season 2 ended awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed,
But the first
the
half,
middle of
you're
season,
like-
the middle of season 2.
The first couple episodes were good, yeah. But like, you're just like, that's cool. Hey, can we leave now? Because this farm.
The only thing that kept me interested in season 2 is how hot Maggie was and is. Because oh my god,
one of the reasons I still watch
Oh.
the show. That's
Yeah, can Carl just get healed? Yeah, no, I agree.
God.
Yeah.
I still don't like Carl. But anyways,
Really? No, see, I disagree. I think
I
in
like comic
season-
book Carl much better.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hands
Reading
down.
the comics
Hands down.
now is ruining it for me. I'll tell you that right now. Because I was already going downhill with this show. And look, people, listen to me. I still like the show. I'm going to continue to watch it. Here's my thing. For people like me, now myself, I'm not so much into the zombie thing. I like the human drama of it, and what are we going to do now that we're put in this ridiculously impossible situation?
Same reason you like Jericho.
Yes, and I don't like a ton of gore, but when your episode has to have a really interesting way to kill a zombie or a lot of gore in it to make that episode interesting, that's when I get bored.
Really?
That's when I get stoked, actually.
That's when I get excited.
No, it's
the whole reason I watch it is because it's
I'm
zombie.
sorry,
then I
but-
go, cool, that was awesome, but then it's like...
I'm sorry, but in season 3 thus far, I saw a dude's leg get hacked off.
Cool.
I saw a guy's face get pulled off.
I do dig
saw
it.
a zombie get its head smashed in a car trunk.
I absolutely dig it. But
I saw a
dude,
zombie
we're not-
I saw a zombie get curb stomped, dude. I thought I was at a hardcore show again. Like, jeez.
But I
Dude,
just
when-
don't
when-
think
when
that should be the main like focal point of the show.
Okay, and I agree with you in that aspect.
But that's the whole... Wait a minute.
No, that's
the
not the whole point.
show is called Walking Dead.
Yes, and
It's
what do they
about
say?
zombies.
Actually, the Walking Dead are the people that are still alive, and I think the comic
Oh,
book
you've
clearly
got it.
states that.
Oh,
yes.
The comic book clearly states
Fine,
that.
fine.
That is what the Walking Dead actually stands
Oh,
for.
but give me a break.
It's absolutely right. Am B-Wok.
He's got this one.
Give me a break. It's a double entendre. It means both things.
No, it is.
Oh,
clearly,
you've gotta be kidding
And
me.
they have pitched it like
Really?
this to people who are not zombie movie lovers.
It's
It is not just a show about zombies. It is about
it's
an
a zombie
apocalypse.
show. Then why? Then tell me why. Tell me why every promo image has zombies in it. It's because
Okay.
it's about zombies.
You know that draws in the zombie
my-
crowd. It's
You're losing your mind.
Dawn of the Dead. Okay, tell me anything interesting about those characters.
Well, Sarah Polly, the girl from Anne of Green Gables, is actually in it.
I don't want to. Okay. You really just proved my point. There's nothing interesting about those characters because that's a zombie movie. This is a very character-driven drama.
I'm not saying
with these
it's
people
not.
placed in this predicament,
I'm not
and there
saying
happen to
it's
be
not.
zombies there.
But the reason people are watching it, or the reason they're getting started, isn't because of the human drama. They're getting into it because there's zombies in it.
That's not the reason why I did. So you're saying I'm an anomaly? Nobody else is like me in that area?
give me a.
I
give
hate
me a
zombie
break.
flicks.
I
hate
love zombie flicks.
I hate them.
The reason I watch is 'cause of the
And I've talked to
zombies.
plenty of people that are the same way. Where I wasn't really into the whole zombie thing, but this show is intriguing and it gives us something to watch. It is something to watch. There is something to be learned about what's happening with these people in this situation that they're in. So, The Walking Dead, and I think we've all caught up, but I will just tell you this: it's an okay season so far. The last episode was disappointing. If they're going to do character build-up, stop doing it slow and stop doing the same old annoying thing. Yeah, we get it. Andrea's stupid, and Andrea
Oh
makes
my
no
gosh,
sense.
of course she is.
And she just does all kinds of dumb stuff. We get
Her
that.
character is exactly opposite what she was in the comics.
Well, we get it. We get what she is
Yeah.
in the show. Move on and get to something else. Start a war. Do something. Stop talking about it. Tell Glenn to do what he's got to do if he's going to be claiming that, we got to go do something. Do it. Stop showing Andrea half naked with a knife in her hand that she's not going to do anything with.
Well, they had to create drama in your drama.
I'm going to agree with him in
but
the aspect.
kill him. That'll create drama, and we can move on from the governor.
And the governor's been weak compared to what he was in the comics.
I'm not there yet with him in the comics.
Yeah, but that's
it's
a
like,
little too raw for the show.
Well, that's
honestly.
true.
There's a lot of things you can't really do, and yeah, you'll see.
He's
what
done
we
some
mean.
crazy stuff in the
You'll-
show. I don't know what he's done in the comic
You'll
book.
see what we mean. I can't even spoil this for you because you don't even know.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's in store for you.
Okay, well, he's still been pretty crazy in the show, but it's time for him to go, and it's time for them to now move on to the next thing.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
And that's where, when you're making episodes like this last week, at that point you're going, all right, cool. I mean, seriously, how long did the scene take from her to drive the car from Woodbury to the prison, and then she got back, and we have to see the car pulling up from the prison to Woodbury?
And then everybody point guns at her, and then they look who is that? Who is it?
Yes,
It's
and
the
it happened
blonde
at-
who left yesterday.
Right, and it happened at both spots, and I'm like, oh, cool, that was a good way to fill 7 minutes. Way to go. 40
true.
40
That's
left. So those are the things that I don't like. And there's a new showrunner next season. So it's like, hey, that's cool. Let's just switch showrunners every other season.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
it worked for Community, right?
No,
No, it didn't.
No, what's wrong with AMC is AMC are cheap bastards, and they didn't want to play. They didn't want to pay Darabont what he wanted, and
yeah.
that's when they went wrong, because he wanted to do a whole prequel thing to start off season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Where it took off with who were the dead guys, the dead zombies in the tank before Rick got in there, and
Right.
it was going to explain all that, and they were like, no, it's going to cost too much money, so you got to go.
I just want to move on to a message we got from an email we got.
Oh,
from a listener.
message!
We got a We got an email from a listener of ours who posed the question to us. I'm gonna let Doughboy read the email.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read his email because I want you folks out there to know that, hey, if you email us and it's a question,
up, we will hit you back.
and let's give you that. nerdswithissues@gmail.com. You can contact us on SoundCloud.
You can hit us up on Facebook.
We love talking on Facebook.
Twitter.
We're on that thing all the time. Twitter
at Nerds with Issues.
So we got one from Craig. I won't say Craig M. Why does it sound
Craig?
Craig. What's up, Craig? Okay. He
Craig
says,
Mack. Is he booking up a flavor in our ear?
kicking brand new flavor. That's what the email says. He's like, dear guys, I'm kicking brand new flavor in your ear. Okay. He says, big fan, love the podcast. I would like your guys' opinion and input about this subject. Besides Batman and Spider-Man, who is the best rogue gallery and why? Craig, a.k.a. Shred.
Okay, so if we're saying that we can't include Batman, and who else?
We can't include Batman or Spider-Man, which they do have the
Those,
best.
Yeah.
And they have the same villains, really, if you think about it.
That's a really good point.
Holy shit, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Green Goblin, Joker.
Yeah.
Black Cat, Catwoman. Sandman, Clayface.
Wow. Good point.
It goes on and on. I can go all day if I want.
Vulture, Penguin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but Penguin is decidedly more scary, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's saying something
So
because
if
that's a
we're-
DC villain.
If we're excluding Spider-Man and Batman, are we too also excluding Superman?
No,
We're
I think
not. Okay.
I think we can because some of the other ones we mentioned can kind of stand up to his villains.
Right.
And you know what? Let's not throw Lex Luthor in there. Okay, I'm really just
Really?
Are you getting tired of Lex Luthor yet? Does anybody?
No, dude, he's Lex freaking Luthor.
He's
I know,
Lex
but
freaking
like after a
Luthor.
while, you're kind of just like ready for something else.
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay. So hold on.
That's
So-
why I'm kind of hoping the movie maybe goes somewhere else.
Well, I
for
think
Man
it
of Steel.
will.
Okay.
I mean, it seems to me they're concentrating.
Eventually,
on Zod.
yes, it's his main. I get that.
I mean, was anybody even cast as Lex Luthor for this film?
no.
Well, there you go.
No. Yeah. So who else do we got for Superman?
Toyman.
You've got Lex Luthor, Doomsday, Toyman. You've got oh wow, I can't.
Mr. Mitsaplex?
Mr. Mixoplex.
Mixius Pitalik.
But I don't know if you can really include him.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can do that.
Superman also has Zod.
Superman also has himself on Red Kryptonite.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Parasite.
Stuck up behind you.
Yeah.
Parasite's a pretty sweet.
Parasite. Yeah, Parasite's a
Ooh,
good one.
Bizarro.
Right?
Bizarro.
I'm a huge Bizarro.
Yeah.
Oh, Metallo.
You know what? I want to say something really quick.
Metallo.
When they did Bizarro Superman on Smallville, those were some of my most favorite episodes. By the way, I just
When
want
they
to
did
throw that out
Bizarro, when they did Bizarro in All Star Superman, that's like made the book for me because All Star Superman's awesome.
Yeah, but when they did Doomsday in Smallville, it was awful.
Yeah, it was just him fighting the Hulk.
I
Yeah,
will.
exactly.
No,
Oh,
no,
wow,
you're right.
yeah.
I'll agree, but I at least like how it ended. But no, you're right. I
Yeah.
was real skeptical because I'm like, don't do that, and they realized that too. That's why it never got brought up again.
No, it's
Yeah.
a
It's like
real
that was.
bummer.
They almost jumped the shark, but then they picked it back up and did a really
Right.
good job.
And then
Right.
they did that awesome Legion of Superheroes episode, which
Oh,
is kick ass.
so good. 2
Might be my
hours
favorite
of
episode
brilliance.
of the entire series.
Not mine. When Jonathan Kent kicks the bucket, that's mine.
That's a good episode.
That's an amazing episode. They play "You're Beautiful, It's True." There's another line in that song I like a lot better though.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, I went there. Okay, so we got Superman and we got his rogues gallery. Who
I
else?
was-
Flash.
Yeah.
Flash is my boat.
Yeah, well, he does have guerrilla warfare coming after him.
Hey,
Gorillas.
Gorilla Grodd happens to be one of the most menacing forces in
Gorilla
the DC
Grodd.
universe.
Boomerang.
Yeah,
Man.
he's one of the most menacing
or
forces
Captain
in
Boomerang.
Planet of the
sorry.
Apes too. But
Dude,
anyways,
all I'm saying is a giant, ferocious gorilla that can read your mind. What the hell? Are you kidding me? That's
I
freaking
thought
terrifying.
James Franco did that movie already. And I'm not talking about Oz the Great and Powerful.
Right. Who else for the Flash? Captain Boomerang.
Zoom. Well, here's the thing. Flash has an entire rogues gallery that is simply known as the Rogues, and they're a group of characters that, on the surface, seem completely ridiculous. Yes, there's a gorilla with telepathic powers. There's a guy named Captain Cold. There's a Captain Boomerang. They all have preposterous costumes and seem totally ridiculous. However, Jeff Johns, one of his earliest runs on any book is the Flash, and if nothing else, he legitimized those characters. He and Scott Collins also did a 3-issue tie-in to Final Crisis, which I maintain the tie-ins to Final Crisis are much better than the actual Final Crisis. However, there's a book called The Rogue's Revenge, and essentially where it takes off is a little bit after Bart Allen has been killed by the Rogues unintentionally. They've been on the run for a year, and they're evading everyone, trying to get away from the cops, from the Justice League, who's hunting them down for killing a member of the Justice League.
Right.
And it's these 5 men, and in the midst of all this Final Crisis stuff, Libra comes in and is like, "Hey, join our evil giant evil society."
Right.
And Captain Cold's kind of like, "Yeah, F you, we're doing our own thing." Libra doesn't like this, so he assembles a new team of rogues, and they get brutally massacred. Rogue's Revenge is a book that will completely change your mind about every Flash villain.
Wow.
In that you really see that, aside from the gimmicky weapons and the absolute zero guns, they're all hardened criminals that have some sick type of moral code. The rogues will kill you if you get in their way. However, the rogues will never kill women or children. They simply don't do it. And
so are you saying that you think Flash's Rogue Gallery is the best out of those?
I would, because when you got a character like Captain Cold, who lived a life of a lot of parental abuse from his father, when he finds his dad in Rogue's Revenge, he has no problem freezing him and shattering the ice. He's ruthless.
What about Wolverine?
Wolverine's got a great Rogues Gallery.
He really does. Sabretooth.
Because I know that was one we had
Samurai.
forgot at
Samurai.
first, and then we mentioned that. I mean,
Yeah.
Lady Deathstrike.
Oh, yeah.
Omega Red. Here's one you guys are going to look at me a little odd for, but I really like Daredevil's Rogues Gallery, actually.
Oh, okay.
And part of it
we completely forgot about
Here's
that.
the thing. Part of it is, admittedly, Daredevil likes to steal Spider-Man's villains because he doesn't have enough of his own. He's like, "Oh, Kingpin, that's cool. Oh, I'm fighting Mysterio this week. Hey, Electro, what's up, dude? Want to tussle?" I don't know. But aside from that,
Right.
no. I mean, I like Stiltman. Yes, he's totally preposterous, but I like Stiltman.
Stiltman.
And
They actually make a joke about that in the last issue
and that's what's
of
great
Daredevil.
about it is that Matt Murdock himself is well aware that he on a regular basis has to fight dudes like Stiltman and Leapfrog.
Yeah, when
even
they're trying,
he himself
they're
is
trying to figure out like who's this big mastermind behind everything that's going on to Daredevil, and Foggy's like, "Oh my God, Matt! All along it's been Stiltman," and then they both just sit up there and start laughing, and I'm like, "Wow, they just dissed out Stiltman." I'd say I'm probably gonna go with Daredevil
Yeah.
because but does that because we excluded Spider-Man? And it really is Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery, pretty much.
Wow.
With the exception of Gladiator, Bullseye, Stiltman, and Leapfrog, the rest are Spider-Man villains that he stole.
Wow.
Well,
so all the good ones? I
Well-
got you.
While we're talking about Rogues Galleries, it isn't
Bullseye.
basically.
Bullseye.
Elektra's in there too. Yeah, Bullseye's awesome. The Hand, come on.
Well, what about the X-Men's Rogue Gallery? I mean, that's basically the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yes, not to mention Mr. Sinister.
Right.
Any number of people who have been in the Brotherhood. Juggernaut. I mean, who people were really.
The Phoenix.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny because it's true.
Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
No, I love Grant Morrison throwing an
Wow.
X-Men. I love Grant Morrison throwing an X-Men. That's a joke.
So I guess
Spiral?
it's really hard to call, but I don't I see your point about the Flash, but I don't think I could go with the Flash. Since we can't go. I just don't think it's no.
Well, I think
It's
we
not
hit-
fair to go with Daredevil. Me myself, I would probably say Wolverine.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
If I've got Superman, it's almost like I guess he counts, but I mean when we went over it, it's like Doomsday wasn't really a rogues gallery because it's like, hey, check me out on Doomsday, peace. I killed you. I killed you, Doc.
Well, no, and there'd actually been a couple of good things done with Doomsday post the death of Superman.
Really? Because I didn't like any of the Doomsday stuff they ever did after that.
Well, there were and I'm even referring to the cartoons. I'm also referring to just other Doomsday storylines that I've seen that have been okay.
Yeah, and then
not as good as the first one. But
yeah. So I don't know. For me, it would be Wolverine.
I mean, Superman Doomsday is an awful movie. I don't count that as at all.
Terrible movie.
Terrible movie.
All right. So I hope we've adequately answered that question. We've given him some good ones.
Oh yeah.
But I guess we can't really pick a favorite.
It's hard to.
It's hard to because our favorite really would be Spider-Man's.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion.
Who's Howard the Duck's Rogues Gallery?
George Lucas.
Anybody taller than him? Leah Thompson.
Oh man.
Oh, I'd have done her. Anyways. I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover there. And The Walking Dead,
Exhaustively,
I think The Walking Dead is going to be cool. They will end it great somehow, some way. It'll end out really great.
The season finales are always pretty epic for Walking Dead.
Yeah, I can definitely agree on.
Yeah, but they end up like a soggy trampoline. They're really great on each end, but in the middle they seem to drag.
What are you doing on the trampoline?
Tell me I'm wrong.
I've never done the soggy trampoline thing. I can't tell you you're wrong.
What I'm saying is, the beginning and end are both high points. In the middle, it just drags.
They're kind of like a mysterious curly hair on your pillow. It's like, Jesus. Freaked me out, man. Soggy trampolines. So anyways. Oh, good God. That went way out there.
Well, the thing about Jericho is it's kind of like a hoagie sandwich. It's really good.
All right, so soggy trampolines aside, I guess we'll start moving on because that just took us to a whole different place. Yeah. But I agree. There's one more thing. Yeah, no, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know how many of you out there watch the Super Bowl, but during the Super Bowl there was an ad, and I was really intrigued by it. But it comes on, and it's just a blurb. It really was like 15 seconds, and it shows this little town getting covered by this crazy force field, and then it says Stephen King's Under the Dome coming soon. And I was what the hell? Well, Stephen King wrote a book called Under the Dome, which literally I have sitting on my bookshelf since the day it came out, and I still haven't read it.
I was going to say, it looks brand new.
It really is sitting there brand new, and it's because I had like 3 other books at the time, and I just never got to it. It's a big book, too. Well, let me say this. The miniseries, it's intriguing enough that it's a new Stephen King miniseries, because if you're a fan of those, you know he always makes good ones. This one happens to be written by Brian K. Vaughan.
Oh, wow.
Brian K. Vaughan is writer. He's listed as writer and creator. And Stephen King has given it his blessing, and he's all stoked on it. It starts in June. Do your research, people. Under the Dome.
Well, and just remind our audience, Brian K. Vaughan is the guy writing Saga.
I keep forgetting.
Why the Last Man?
Why the Last Man, which I finished, dug it. It was good, loved it. And also Saga. He's just an amazing writer, and so I can't wait to see what he does with this.
One of the best in the industry, absolutely.
Just to give you an idea, before if you go to check out the book. Basically, what it's about is this small town. It's a small New England town that basically gets covered in this force field, this bubble, if you will.
You're kidding me. A Stephen King book that takes place in New England?
I know, right?
Wow.
He's all about Massachusetts. And he basically, these people are trapped under there, and it's all the craziness that goes on from there and finding out what the hell is this dome that is now covering us that we can't see, blah, blah, blah. Check it out. Read the book. That's what I'm going to do before the miniseries comes, and then I'm looking forward to seeing what Brian K. Vaughan does with a Stephen King story. There was something else that we were going to talk about right now before I went into next week's comics, but I can't really think about it now.
I want to give a few shout-outs out.
We will. We'll do that at the end. We'll do it because I know there's so many people anxious to hear from us. Before we get into shout-outs, let's talk about next week's books, shall we?
Sir.
Is there anything that you fellas have been looking forward to coming out? And I can tell you if it's coming or not. I'm checking right now. I just I accidentally clicked. I'm not going to lie. I accidentally clicked My Little Pony. That was effed up. That wasn't the book I wanted, I swear.
I don't think that was accidental.
Okay, John wanted me to check and see if it was coming. Let's see. I love how he's not here to defend himself, and I just shit all over him. Smallville Season 11, Book 11 is coming.
Ultimate Spidey.
I'm not in Marvel yet. Okay, I want you to slow your roll. I'm looking at Douche Comics.
DC Comics.
Rorschach, the last Rorschach's coming.
Oh,
Sweet.
yes.
I'm almost ready to sever ties. So that's awesome. You said Ultimate Spidey, right?
Yep.
Let me get down to this Marvel list here. Let me just scroll on over. We got, let's see, all new X-Men number 8 coming.
Baby.
Yes. End of Days number 6.
Word.
So, oh, wow, God, that thing's almost over.
There.
It makes me sad.
Great
book.
book.
Really quick, I just saw this on here. Also coming next week. Deadpool Killustrated. Did you see the Moby Dick one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is A Christmas Carol.
Oh, no.
And the cover looks ridiculously dope. I'm going to get that one. I'm definitely going to get it. So
that's Deadpool.
Deadpool Illustrated. Let's see here. Oh, what do you know about this B-Wok? Kick-Ass 2 Prelude Hit Girl hardcover. Is that all of them together?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be picking that up. because if it's anything as sick and twisted as Kick-Ass 2 was, I'm down.
Oh, wow. And speaking of Kick-Ass 2, found out just this week that the film Kick-Ass 2 has been pushed back from June to August.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's coming out this year. That's all I care about.
Well, yeah, but it's been pushed back.
Brian's excited. Want to know why?
Why?
No Ultimate Spider-Man, but certainly a Superior Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, number 5.
Number 5. Yeah,
Then that means I'm 4 issues closer to it being over.
Yes, sir.
That's so true. But it's not a big week next week. But we'll have plenty to talk about because I'm going to read Hit Girl, and we're going to get into that. I think we're going to, I think now that one's been released, I think it's time for us.
Movie, dude.
Yeah, and I think it's time for us maybe to dissect that series for our listeners.
Absolutely.
You guys into that?
I love Kick-Ass.
Have you read Kick-Ass 2 yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Christ, it is ridiculous. I'll just say that. So we'll get into some of that next week. And now let's give some shout-outs, and let's get out of here and let these good folks go before we get into some other giggle fest
There you go.
that they're listening to. Shout-outs. I forgot to shout out our homie, Seriously Black. What's up, Sirius? She loves the nickname. It's funny. Kaboom Test Labs, Gene, Jocelyn, John, everybody.
I want to give a shout out to the 2% of our listens that are coming out of Australia, somewhere in Tasmania.
Cav. It's almost like Kev. I was chatting with him on Facebook the other night. He seems to be having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to keep me calm. I was having an issue. We're good now.
Wait. You're a nerd and you had an issue. You had an issue with that? Never happens on this show.
Never.
Yeah. Wait.
Never.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah,
I caught it now. NWI makes so much sense. Yeah, Kevin, Australia. Good day, mate.
Yeah, I think that was. Yeah. I think that's appropriate.
I think the Australians are going to disagree with both of us. That wasn't appropriate at all, mate.
They're gonna be horribly offended.
Am I missing anybody? I know you guys wanted to give some shout outs. I can't think of anybody else.
I say hi to my mom. I love you, Mom. No, my mom is not listening.
Oh, okay. I was like, good, because we say some effed up stuff.
My mom would not listen. Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell is a soggy trampoline?
Shout out to my hot poetry teacher. Shout out to my dog. Shout out to
like a homie or like your actual dog?
My actual dog.
Oh, sweet. All right.
He listens to the show. That's awesome.
Yes.
Hey, big shout out to Monique Duke Photography.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I've seen the proofs of the pictures we took.
Yes.
I'm ready. I'm ready for them.
Yeah, definitely our listeners can expect to see more photos coming out from the big NWA photo shoot a couple weeks ago.
What? We revived Easy E to make a photo shoot.
I said NWI.
Okay, because it sounded like A.
You did say A.
Sounded like A.
I said I.
All right, it sounded like A. I don't know what
You're
happened.
both drunk.
Shout out to my friend Kelly's cat because he's cool. His name's Arwen.
Wow. Okay.
I was pulling shit out of my ass.
Yeah. Nobody else I can think of for shout outs. Duke, you?
No.
Wow.
Shout-outs are
That's
for
really
amateurs.
selfish of you.
Shout-outs are for amateurs. Come on.
Really?
I don't know.
I guess you're right in some aspects. Anyways, it's been another wonderful issue with you. We've gone through our giggle fits. We've gone through everything. Once again, you guys need to get to us with these questions. We'll obviously read them and have no problem doing it. So
we love answering questions from our listeners.
Absolutely. So
and that was a great question.
He did. It's like he put some thought in that, and it gave us something to think about. So I was kind of cool with that.
So if you have any questions like that, any concerns, any comments, anything you want to say to us, make sure you drop us an email at
nerdswithissues@gmail.com.
And on Facebook,
just Nerds with Issues. We're there.
And
we are the only ones, however. If you look that up in the search of Facebook, Nerds with Issues, we're the only ones you're going to find.
That's right. And if you Google Nerds with Issues, all you're going to pull up is us.
Nerds with Issues. Thing. It's really beautiful. And
NWI.
On Twitter, at Nerds with Issues. And we could probably use some more followers. We've been slacking on the Twitter. We'll get on that.
Absolutely.
Other than that, next week we'll talk Comic Cons coming up. We're going to talk some other stuff. I know there's some new guests getting put out there for Phoenix as well as Ace. I know we'll be hearing that soon. Yeah, so we've got a lot going on. We'll be talking to you more next week. And I think for now, we're out of here. So thanks for hanging with us, and we will see you soon. Talk to you soon. And I guess we're out. Peace.
Adios,
thanks for listening.
boys and girls.
Keep it real.